what's up and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be giving a review for the film Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Now this is a sequel to the 2018 film Venom, which I thought was pretty entertaining and awesome. I was surprised too. Now I was also surprised that this one was even entertaining too as well. Now this time it's directed by Andy Serkis, and you do have Tom Hardy returning to like the role of like Eddie Brock, Venom. Then you also have Woody Harrelson in the film too as Cletus Cassidy, Carnage. So I think that's kind of awesome. He's like the antagonist of the film. Now I must admit it is awesome, and I can't believe that I'm actually seeing these two like in a live action film. You know, it is so awesome because I'm such a huge Spider-Man fan. He's like my second favorite like superhero, and Venom is my favorite villain for Spider-Man too as well, like, as far as like Spider-Man villains go. So it still is like amazing actually seeing this because I was such a huge fan of like the comic books themselves. Like back in the early 90s I used to read so many like Spider-Man comics. So it still is awesome seeing these two like brought to life like on the screen. Now you also have Michelle Williams, Naomi Harris, and them other characters and like other actors and actresses in the film too as well. Now the film itself is about Brock interviewing the serial killer known as Cletus, who eventually becomes Carnage. Now I don't want to get into too much because it kind of spoils the film, but there are like a lot of awesome like scenes and entertaining moments in the film. Now it still does seem like the first Venom film was actually better than this one, but it still holds its own. It still is pretty entertaining. Now I must admit, I still believe that the visual effects in the film could be better, you know. But like once the film starts to go down, from my point, is once it gets to like about the I guess you could say between the second and third act of the film, and this is once Cletus becomes like Carnage. Like once he becomes Carnage, it is like an awesome scene and song, but it still feels like that's when it starts to just drag on, because then it becomes a film about Eddie Brock and Venom having to take Carnage out as well, you know. Because most of the film itself is about this like relationship between like Eddie Brock and Venom themselves. Like they're not getting along, you know. And at one point, it's a spoiler that they actually separate. And of course, like the symbiote, like the alien symbiote, did do that with Eddie Brock. Venom, he did separate from him, like in the comics, you know, and he'll go and get into like other people and so on. So he did do that as far as like the comic book storyline goes. Now you also have Frances Barrison, known as Shriek, and she's played by Naomi Harris. And she actually has like this ability where she can scream real loud. She can create this loud sound wave. And of course, you know, that is like damaging to like Venom, you know, also like Carnage, who has like the same I guess you could say what you call it, like wounds, you know, those are the same thing, ailments that can hurt them, like flame or fire and sound. But yeah, it's a pretty entertaining film. Now the way they did Carnage, now I thought Woody Harrelson was pretty good, like in the role of Cletus. It does seem like that's how he will actually be, because he is like a serial killer that killed like his own family, because I do recall that. So I think he did portray the character pretty good, but it seems like once he actually like the Carnage symbiote takes over, it's just like it's too serious. Now from my point of view, it seems like that's how the Venom like symbiote should be when it's with Tom, like with Eddie Brock. It seemed like he was mostly like that in the comics, if I can remember correctly. But the actual Carnage symbiote, it seems like very serious. It doesn't seem as humorous as like Venom is, you know, which makes the Venom like anti-hero status of Venom in this film, like and in the original film from 2018 seems pretty good, because you can tell they actually just turned Venom to like an anti-hero, so he should be humorous and funny like that. Now there are a bunch of like Easter eggs throughout the film too as well, like hints at what they're going to do with these, and there's like an awesome one towards the very end of the film. You actually got to watch some of the credits for a little bit, then they'll show this particular moment, you know, you'll get what that is, and I think it's awesome because you can tell they are going to do that now. But yeah, overall this was a pretty entertaining film. And you have Michelle Williams, who plays Anne Weyand, and she's like the Eddie Brock's ex-fiance, and she knows Venom too and very familiar with him as well. You also have Stephen Graham as Patrick Bullock, and he's like a detective who's trying to use Brock to help him solve what's going on with like the symbiotes and all that kind of stuff like that, because Eddie Brock is always around. Then you also have I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to touch on too many things, you know, but it is a pretty entertaining film. Like I said, I feel like it kind of drags once it gets to when Carnage is actually fully revealed. Like I said, even like his visual effects, and he does look exactly how he kind of did in the comics. I thought that was cool. Whereas like Venom is still missing like his symbol, like the spider symbol thing that he has on his chest. Like Carnage looks exactly like how he does in the comics, you know. But overall, it's a pretty entertaining film. But like I say, once it gets to like when Carnage takes over, it looks like it kind of drags then, you know. But it was pretty good, though. I still enjoy it, and I'm still surprised that these are pretty good, because when you think about it, these would be like awful films. But they are pretty entertaining and pretty solid films. You know, Venom looks cool too. I like how they did him. That's awesome, because like I said, he is my favorite like Spider-Man villain too as well. But yeah, I'll be definitely recommending this. So I'm giving Venom, Let There Be Carnage, I'm giving this a B-. You can definitely see where the they're gonna go with these. Like I said, you have to watch out the credits too, because there's like an amazing Easter egg. Once the credits actually like roll, you have to actually wait for them to roll a little bit and then show it. So I definitely recommend standing around for that. But I'm giving this a B minus. Please leave a comment and subscribe too as well.